So we know Manitobans' finances are a mess after 10 years of austerity, combination of cuts to services and programs and tax cuts going mostly to the rich. It's weakened our province to the point where we can't offer basic services to Manitobans. Our infrastructure is crumbling. We have a massive infrastructure deficit, and it's not only just provincial. It's municipal infrastructure deficit. It's school boards. It's regional health authorities. Basically, our post-secondary institutions. Since 2016, there are now 2,500 fewer civil servants working for Manitoba. Our population in that same period of time has gone up 200,000 people. We now have the largest non-COVID deficit in Manitoba. We are paying $2 billion in interest to basically out-of-province bondholders. That's doubled in the last couple of years. And that's money that isn't going to schools, that isn't going to hospitals, and it's certainly not going to infrastructure. And we also see that this deficit matches dollar to dollar the amount of tax cuts for the rich that occurred in the previous government, $1.6 billion. The Premier was critical of the previous government, but we now see that he hasn't rolled back any of those rich people tax cuts and basically has adopted them as his own. So poverty is very much a political choice. And having homeless citizens is very much a political choice. And this Premier has signaled to the world that he's okay with that, and it's not a priority. He signaled that he won't add extra spots to the Rent Assist program, even though it has devastating consequences to Manitobans. He's also signaled that he doesn't have any concern about child poverty. He has no urgency and no action that he's prepared to take. He's okay with tens of thousands of Manitoban children living in poverty. So who has the Premier been helping? Well, he's not helping average Manitobans, but he has been helping the very wealthy. In fact, we can consider this a Premier for the rich. He's refused to build new schools. In fact, children are going to school in hallways. At the same time, he borrowed his money, $190 million, to give corporations and businesses the gas tax holiday. They didn't ask for it. Nobody was calling for it. The Premier just did it on his own. We also see privatization of the healthcare system. We look no further than the True North Development Corporation, which owns the Jets and have bought Portage Place Mall. One of the owners is David Thompson. He's the richest person in Canada and the 22nd richest person in the world. He is estimated to be worth $60 billion, yet our Premier thinks he isn't rich enough. He believes that we need to send Manitobans' hardworking dollars to an out-of-province billionaire. In fact, he signed a 35-year lease for a medical building to be built at Portage Place. This Premier has refused to tell Manitobans how much they're on the hook for it, and the reason is simple. This is a sweetheart deal that is going to enrich this billionaire and this company, and the Premier is embarrassed, is absolutely embarrassed at the dollar figure that he's saddled Manitoba taxpayers about it. The Premier is also privatizing affordable housing, and of course we're in the middle of an affordable housing crisis. In the 80s, Canada was building about 20,000 social housing units a year. That stopped, and in fact, the private market took over, and it's been a disaster for Manitoba. In fact, the financialization of our housing market has meant that we have now an affordable housing crisis in our province. So what does this Premier do? He gives $10 million in taxpayer dollars over to a for-profit real estate investment trust. It's a small group of private investors who intend to make money off of the Premier's $10 million on affordable housing. Profits that could have gone to build more housing. Again, that is public money being used to supplement private business profits. Manitoba will not see any of that $10 million.